On the basketball court, Zhiming, a man who has been reborn at the age of 18, is playing a game with his close friend Chen Ansheng. On the sideline stands Chen Shi, who has also traveled back in time, Ansheng's mother and Zhiming's ex-girlfriend. Upon learning that Ansheng's mother, Chen Shi, is single, Zhiming's plan crystallized instantly. He intends to win Chen Shi back, and winning over this young man is the first step. He began to cater precisely to his tastes. He ordered the deluxe meal for Ansheng and promised to cover all his study materials and trainers. He thought this was merely paving the way to become a stepfather, a calculated gesture of goodwill. At this point, he still had no idea that he was Ansheng's biological father. The peanut butter on the dining table became the catalyst that revealed the truth. Ansheng suddenly began to itch all over and struggled to breathe. It was a severe peanut allergy reaction. Almost at the same moment, Zhiming developed exactly the same symptoms. Both were rushed to hospital. Whilst Chen Shi was away paying the hospital fees, Ansheng complained to Zhiming about his allergic constitution, blaming it entirely on that scum of a father. He described the man who had abandoned his wife. What truly shattered his defenses were Ansheng's next words. To evade detection, Chen Shi had employed a clever ruse. She had deliberately reduced her son's date of birth by 6 months, creating the illusion that the child had been born after the couple had split. A clever Only then did Zhiming realize that the young man standing before him was his son. When Chen Shi returned to the ward, Zhiming in tears asked her if Ansheng was indeed his son and whether the abortion certificate had also been forged. It turned out that back then, Yu's mother had brandished a check in an attempt to tear them apart and take Ansheng away. Chen Shi had been forced to resort to this desperate measure. Zhiming explained that he had already arranged visas for both mother and son years ago, intending to take them away with him. But it was all too late. The misunderstanding had become an abyss, standing between them for 18 years. Now fate had granted him a second chance. Zhiming decided he would no longer run away. He declared to Chen Shi that he would win her back, and at the same time, he would enter his son's world as a brother. The very next day, Zhiming drove up in a luxury car to pick up the mother and son for their exam. Thanks to the extra tuition Zhiming had provided recently, Ansheng's grades had improved dramatically, and he had climbed a full 500 places in this major exam. However, this remarkable improvement attracted jealousy and false accusations. The class monitor, Wang Qianqian, slipped a cheat sheet containing the final maths question into Ansheng's desk drawer and immediately reported him to the teacher for cheating. With both eyewitnesses and physical evidence against him, Ansheng was left with no defense. Shortly afterwards, Wang Qianqian lured Ansheng into the stairwell and confessed that the cheat sheet was hers. Seeking to exploit Ansheng's affection for her, she begged him to take the blame, arguing that as class monitor, she could not afford to have a blemish on her record. Zhiming and Chen Shi, watching from the corner, assumed that the kind-hearted Ansheng would compromise for the sake of the girl he fancied, but they had underestimated their son's maturity. Ansheng refused Wang Qianqian. He told her that this 500-point improvement was the result of Zhiming and Chen Shi's hard work, and he could not betray those who truly cared for him just to please her. In front of the entire class and the teacher asked Zhiming to explain the final problem, but Zhiming gave the opportunity to Ansheng instead. Under everyone's gaze, Ansheng stepped up to the blackboard, his reasoning clear and his solution flawless. Wang Qianqian cried thief herself, claiming he had merely memorized the answers from a cheat sheet. Chen Shi pressed play on her voice recorder. The recording of Wang Qianqian asking Ansheng to take the blame was made public. The truth was revealed, and the accuser was left red-faced. Watching their son standing on the podium, brimming with confidence, Chen Shi and Zhiming's eyes were filled with pride.